Hello Mitro, welcome to my program Interesting Facts. I have for you today the Grand Trunk Road, the famous GT Road, as you say. The Grand Trunk Road was formerly also known as Uttarapath, or you can say Sadak-e-Azam. Badshahi Sadak is one of the Asia's oldest and longest major roads. For at least 2,500 years, it has linked the Indian subcontinent with Central Asia. Friends, it runs roughly 2,400 kilometers from Chittagong, Bangladesh, to the west Kabul, Afghanistan, passing through Allahabad, which is now Prayagraj, Howrah, Delhi and Amritsar, and India, and Lahore, and Peshawar in Pakistan. Chandragupta Maurya of the Mauryan Empire in the ancient India built this particular highway along the ancient route called Uttarapath. In the 3rd century BC, extending it from the mouth of the Ganges in Bangladesh, which is also called the Delta, to the northern west frontier of the empire. Further improvements to this particular road were made during Ashoka. It was rebuilt many times under Sher Shah Suri, the Mughals and even the British along a partly similar route. The old route was realigned by Sher Shah Suri to Sonargaon, which is central Bangladesh, and Rohtas, which is in Bihar. The Afghan end of the road was once rebuilt under Mahmud Shah Durrani. The road was again built in the British period between 1833 and 1860. Friends, now I'll take you through the highways, the numbers of which mostly start with N. The road coincides with current National Highway 1, that is Chittagong to Dhaka, and then N4 and N405 Dhaka to Sirajganj in Bangladesh. Then you have N507, which is Sirajganj to Nator, again in Bangladesh, and N6 Nator to Rajshahi in Bangladesh and towards Purnia in India. The road further moves on NH12 Purnia Bihar to Bakkali, West Bengal, then NH27 Purnia to Patna, NH19 Kolkata to Agra, NH44 Agra to Jalandhar via New Delhi, Sonipat, Panipat, Ambala and Ludhiana, and NH3 Jalandhar to Atari, Amritsar in India towards Lahore in Pakistan via Wagah. It's a huge road. Then you have N5 Lahore Gujranwala, Gujarat. Now this particular Gujarat is not our Gujarat. This Gujarat is a city in Punjab province in Pakistan. And then it goes to Jhelum, Rawalpindi, Peshawar and Khyber Pass in Pakistan towards Jalalabad in Afghanistan. And highway AH1, that is Torkam to Jalalabad to Kabul in Afghanistan. So this particular road travels from Bangladesh right up to Afghanistan. Over the centuries, the road acted as one of the major trade routes in the region and facilitated both travel and postal communication. The Grand Trunk Road is still used for transportation in present-day Indian subcontinent, where parts of the road have been widened and included in the national highway system. The Buddhist literature and Indian epics such as Mahabharata provide the existence of Grand Trunk Road even before the Mauryan Empire and was called Uttarapath or Uttarapath or the Northern Road. The road connected the eastern region of India with Bactria in Central Asia north of Hindu Kush. The road before the modern Grand Trunk Road was built by Emperor Chandragupta Maurya and was based on the highway running from Susa, a city in Iran, and it went to Sardis in Turkey. During the time of Mauryan Empire in the 3rd century BCE, overland trade between India and several parts of Western Asia and Bactria world went through the cities of the northwest, primarily Takshila in Pakistan and Purshapura, modern-day Peshawar in present-day Pakistan. Takshila was well connected by roads with other parts of the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryas had maintained this very ancient highway from Takshila to Patliputra, present-day Patna in India. Chandragupta Maurya had a whole army of officials overseeing the maintenance of this road, as told by Greek diplomat Megasthenes, who spent some 15 years at the Mauryan court. Constructed in 8 stages, this road is said to have connected the cities of Purshapura, Takshila, Hastinapur, Kanyakubja, Prayag, Patliputra and Tamluk in West Bengal, a distance of around say 2,600 kilometers or maybe 1,600 miles. The route of Chandragupta was built over the ancient Uttarapath or Uttarapatha, or the northern road, which was mentioned even by Panini, an ancient Sanskrit philologist, grammarian and a revered scholar in ancient India. Emperor Ashok has had it recorded in his edict about having trees planted, wells built at every half a course, and many nimisthayas, which is often translated as rest houses along the route. Emperor Kanishka is also known to have controlled the Uttarapath. Sher Shah Suri, the medieval ruler of the Sur Empire. Sur Empire was an empire established by a Muslim dynasty from Afghanistan, Afghan origin, who took to rebuilding Chandragupta's royal road in the 16th century. The old route was further rerouted at Sonargaon and Rohtas, and its breadth was increased. Fruit trees and shade trees were planted at every 2 course. A sarai was built. The number of course minars Now, coast minars were the medieval Indian milestones along the Grand Trunk Road in North India. And even the Baulis were increased. Gardens were also built alongside some sections of the highway. Those who stopped at the sarai were provided free food. Sher Shah Suri's son, Islam Shah Suri, constructed an additional sarai in between every sarai originally built by Sher Shah on the road towards Bengal. More sarais were built under the Mughals also. Jahangir, under his reign, issued a decree that all sarais be built of burnt brick, toughened bricks and stone. Broad-leaved trees were planted in stretch between Lahore and Agra, and Jahangir further built bridges over all water bodies that were situated on the path of the highway. The route was referred to as Sadak-e-Azam by Suri and Badshahi Sadak during the Mughals. In the 1830s, the East India Company started a program of metal road construction for both commercial and administrative purposes. The road, now named Grand Trunk Road from Calcutta through Delhi to Peshawar, present-day Pakistan, was rebuilt at a cost of, say, £1,000 per mile. A public works department, along with a training institute, the erstwhile Thomason College of Engineering, Civil Engineering, which is now known as Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, was founded to train and employ local surveyors, engineers and overseers to perform the work and in future maintain it along with other roads. The road is mentioned in a number of literary works, including those of Foster and Rudyard Kipling. Kipling described the road as, "Look, look again," and Kumars, bankers and tinkers, barbers and banyas, pilgrims and potters, all the world going and coming. It is to me as a river from which I am withdrawn like a log after a flood. And truly the Grand Trunk Road is a wonderful spectacle. It runs straight, bearing without crowding India's traffic for 1,500 miles, such a river of life as nowhere else exists in the world. The ensemble of historic sites along the road in India was submitted to a tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in 2015 under the title Sites Along the Uttarapath, Badshahi Sadak, Sadak-e-Azam Grand Trunk Road. Cephalogists sometimes refer to the area around the GT Road as GT Road Belt within the context of elections. For example, during the elections in Haryana, the area on the either side of the GT Road from Ambala to Sonipat, which has 28 legislative assembly constituencies where there is no dominance of one caste or community, is referred to as GT Road Belt of Haryana. So friends, this was something on GT Road. It's a long, old road, and to me, friends, roads are like living beings. They have been transporting men and material since centuries after centuries. And that's all I have for today. Goodbye and see you next week.